Picture this. A woman, a lawyer, one of the best in the country. She has never lost a case. She barely smiles. Her coworker thinks she might actually be a robot. And she's sitting in the police station, staring at her idol. The man whose posters are on her bedroom wall, whose songs she has memorized in 3 different languages, whose photo cards she handles like they're something precious. He is sitting across from her, exhausted, blood eyes shot, and he's a suspect of murder. Can she represent him? I am not okay. Okay, before we get into it, if you're new here, welcome to the channel. My name is Laila. Idol I is a Korean drama, and it is giving me everything. We have a cold genius lawyer with a secret fangle life, a idol who is more human than the industry will ever let him be, a murderer, a stalker, a bandmate betrayal, and 2 people whose worlds should never have collided. But they did. The deeper the story goes, the more it asks you something quietly uncomfortable. What if the person you have been putting on a pedestal is just as lost as you are? So buckle up, we are starting from the very beginning. We open on the news, and on the news there is Anna. Anna just won another case. Big client, high profile, the kind that makes other lawyers sweat through their suits. She walked out that courtroom like she invented winning. The critics say it's unfair. Her clients are just wealthy people who can afford someone good enough to get them off. The prosecutors who kept losing to her are unraveling. But Anna's firm, obsessed with her. And Anna herself, she walks in, hears the whispers, lets everyone feel the full weight of their own awkwardness, and sits down, ready to work. Her boss wants to celebrate, pop some champagne, toss to their star lawyer. And Anna says, my workday is over. I have no obligations to waste everyone's time to celebrate a personal achievement. A personal achievement. She called winning a massive court case a personal achievement. Like it was remembering to water a plant. No drinks, no celebration, just clock out, go home, done. Cool? Yes. Iconic? Absolutely. Now, there's something I noticed about Anna right away. A lot of people who seem this untouchable, this composed, it is not because they feel nothing. It is because they do not have a safe space to be anything else. We all have versions of ourselves that exist in public and a version that only comes out when the door closes and nobody's watching. But when you spend so much time in that public persona and when you have to be on constantly, you start to hide more and more of who you really are, even from yourself. Anna has been performing this invincible lawyer for so long that almost nobody knows there's anything else underneath. Almost nobody. So the show set up this very serious, very composed, slightly terrifying woman. And then she gets in a car. The second this door closes, she smiles. Not a polite smile, not a professional smile, a full, real, nobody can see me smile. She puts on music that apparently not one person in her life knows that she listens to. She gets home, gets out of her lawyer clothes, and sits down. Not to review cases, but to go through every post, every update, every behind-the-scene clips of her favorite idol in the entire world, Ryan Do, lead vocalist of the Go Boys. Anna is not a casual fan. She is not like, oh, I like their music fan. She is a level 10 poster on every wall, streams everything on multiple devices, comment on posts at 2 a.m. fan. This woman argues in court today. And now she is refreshing Ryan's fan page at 11 p.m. in her pajamas. She is all of us, literally all of us, and I mean that genuinely. Anna is every person who has ever truly loved an idol or celebrity. There is a specific kind of love that fans have where you're fully aware that this person does not know you exist, and somehow that does not make it any less real. You celebrate their wins like they're yours. You defend them to people who do not get it. You know their discography better than they probably did. The only person in Anna's world that knows this about her is Carter, her neighbor. He comes over to celebrate her case win, and Anna barely registers. She is busy listening to Ryan's new song, and Carter's like a little jealous and trying to be the voice of reason. He says, why are you so attached to these photo cards? They just look all the same. You know, they're like a regular person, right? Like he poops and pees like the rest of us. I know Carter said that. But Anna says Ryan is different. He is flawless in every way just by existing. There is always a Carter in our life, always. It does not matter how many times you try to explain it, or how many clips you send, or how many times you say, no, you just don't understand. This person genuinely is different. Carter does not get it. He will never get it. And Carter thinks you are absolutely unhinged. But Carter still shows up. So maybe he gets a little. Maybe. Now, Ryan Doe, lead of Go Boys, beloved by millions, follow, photograph, scream at everywhere he goes. On the surface, he looks like your classic celebrity. Before a comeback event, complaining in the dressing room about everything the company has not provided. But the show quietly tells you something underneath that. Ryan was actually lied to. The condition that he agreed to, the promises made, built on lies. He did not walk into this life with full information. And if you follow anything about K-pop or celebrity idol culture, you already know how unforgiving the public is for almost anything. They can be canceled for liking the wrong Instagram post, being photographed in the wrong place. So much can be fabricated now. So a clip edited in the wrong way, a rumor seeded in the right form, and the damage is done and real. But the people doing it, almost no consequence. The idol absorbs everything. And Ryan is living inside the system. And we're about to see what that will cost him. At a fans meet and greet event, he's doing the signing, he's at a table, he's moving through the line, being present, being professional, and he spots someone in the crowd, a face he recognizes, and his anxiety spikes. Now, next fan steps up. This fan turns out sweet, but her mask quickly slips, her voice raised. You don't remember me? I told you my name so many times. Ryan is trying to be gentle. I'm sorry, can you tell me again? And the fan says, I'll tell you again if you tell me your phone number. Why do you keep changing it? Do you not hear me? I want your phone number. Give me your phone number. She slams the table, threw the paper at him, and there's a paper cut on his face. Cameras are flashing, everyone's staring. Security removes her finally. The event gets cut short. Ryan finds the nearest bathroom and locks the door. His ears are ringing. He cannot make it stop. He reaches for his pills and is scattered all over the floor. He's completely alone and in a building full of people who love him, or who think they do. Meanwhile, Anna has been losing her mind trying to get to the event. And before that, the concert tickets. Let me tell you about the concert tickets. Anna is panicking, barely contained. She's trying to get her tickets for the concert that's almost sold out. Okay, this one, sold out. Calm down. Let's find the next one. No, it's sold out. No, this one for sure. Oh, it's already booked. No, it's all sold out now. So she ended up having to buy from a scalper, which is technically not legal in South Korea. And she's a lawyer, so she showed up with what appeared to be payment, which turned out to be fake money. Because she's a lawyer, she has Carter film the whole thing for evidence, and the scalper ran. Carter chased after him, and in the middle of all this, Ryan came around the corner. He's in the hoodie, he's trying to disappear. Anna grabbed the hoodie because she thought that was the scalper, and she yanked it back, and she turned around, and it's Ryan. Ryan at this point is trying to hide, so he puts his hand over her mouth, and then he says, I'm going to remove my hand now. Please don't scream. Please don't follow me, please. Anna's frozen. His hand drops, and she cannot move. She just sits there. Her idol, the one whose posters are on her wall, whose song she knows word for word, he touched her face. He looked at her and he spoke to her, and she screamed silently in her head, standing alone in the middle of the street. Okay, I have to be honest, I did not follow celebrity for a long time, but in the past year that has changed, and I have become genuinely invested in certain K-pop idols in a way that I did not see coming for myself. But if I had an accidental up-close encounter like this, I cannot guarantee I would remember how to speak or how to walk or how to be a functional human in any capacity whatsoever. So Anna nodded She kept her promise. She did not scream. Well, this is a level of self-control that I do not have, and I respect her for it. While Anna's floating somewhere between consciousness and pure euphoria, Ryan is now backstage. And his bandmates are not happy. The Go Boys, Julian the drummer, Oscar the youngest, and Wesley the peacekeeper, has been waiting. Julian is a little more deliberate. This is his solo concert. Why is he showing up late? Oscar is the gentle one. He's been in a lot of pressure lately. Julian cuts him off. Do you even know what he's been doing? Ryan walks in. Already braced, already tired. What have I been doing? You're late and you're not even sorry. I'm sorry. Happy now? You should say thank you too. You drag us out here because you can't fill a concert by yourself. Yeah, I am using you. But right now there is nothing you can do because your contracts are all expiring and you need the renewal. Julian hit back by bringing up Ryan's mother, said people do not actually love Ryan, they just pity him. Fists starts flying, Oscar the youngest fell, broke his arm, had to be taken to hospital. That night, Ryan at home, singing karaoke too loudly until the doorbell rang. And it was Wesley. He has beer in hand and no explanation, just there. Ryan asked why he came. Wesley already knew. Ryan had stopped by the hospital and left food without going inside. He went, he bought the food. He just could not make himself walk through the door because carrying means vulnerability, and vulnerability has never been safe for him. So together they ate, they drank, they talk about the future, whether Ryan really wants to leave the group behind. And the next morning, Ryan wakes up. He walks out into the living room and Wesley is on the floor. He's not moving. There's blood, a lot of blood. Wesley, open your eyes, Wesley. He was still and quiet, and Ryan was hyperventilating. He's clutching his best friend in a pool of blood. And that is when his manager walked in with his housekeeper. They walk into what looks like a murder scene with Ryan sitting in the middle of it. Ryan, who has been fighting with his bandmates just the day before, who said cruel things in front of witnesses, who's also the person that the industry already find difficult. So he became the first suspect before a single question was even asked. I want you to sit with how fast that happened. One morning, one moment, and everything, his comeback, his career, his freedom, and the person who knew him the best in the world is gone. And this morning starts very differently. She woke up replaying it. Ryan's hand, his voice, the 30 seconds in back alley that she'll probably never forget for the rest of her life. She's happy, quietly, completely, privately happy. And then her phone lights up. The news is everywhere. A murder, a Go Boys member found dead in Ryan's apartment. Ryan is at the police station, prime suspect. Her two worlds, the lawyer world and the fan world, crash into each other at full speed. She goes into the police station, professionally, of course, as a lawyer. That is the reason that she tells herself. She opens the door, he's sitting there, the man from the poster on her wall, looking up. He looks completely helpless. Now, can she be his lawyer? Can she be unbiased? Can she even believe that he did it? She already knows the answer to that last one. But before she can take the case, I need to tell you something. I need to tell you who Anna actually is. When Anna was in school, she had one identity. Not the ambitious one or the smart one that she should have been. She was the daughter of a murderer. Her father has been accused of killing someone, and her classmates make sure that she knew it every single day. She was just a student. There was nothing she could do, nowhere to put any of it. One day, she walked away from school, far away, all the way to the lake. And she stood there at the edge of the water, thought about not coming back. And then she heard someone singing. A boy nearby with a red hat, guitar in his hands, just playing. She didn't say anything. She just listened. And something that had been clenched tight for months just slightly loosened. The boy noticed her. He did not ask questions. He did not try to fix anything. He just took off his red hat and put it on her head. The boy quietly says, I made this when I was at a very low point in my life. I hope it gives you strength. He gives her his iPod, a song he had recorded himself, and she listened to that every day because she had decided something at that lake. She was going to leave. She was going to become a lawyer to fight for her father, fight for everyone who needs someone in their corner when the whole world had already sided against them. That boy did not save her in some dramatic sense. He just reminded her she had a life worth saving. And so Anna built everything, her career, her reputation, her entire self out of one of the worst moments in her life. She became untouchable because she had to be. She was being brave for the version of herself that had no one. And what carried her through was not a plan, not a person who has all the answers. It was music. A stranger's song, a red hat placed gently on her head by a boy who didn't even ask for her name. Sometimes that's all it takes. Not a bit rescue, just a moment that makes you feel slightly less alone. And years later, she sees something on her phone. A new boy band debuting, the Go Boys. And the lead singer was him, the boy from the lake, Ryan Doe. She went to their very first performance, a small outdoor stage, free show. People wandering over just to, see what's going on. But Anna was witnessing something. She watched him achieving his dream while she was achieving hers. And from that day, she supported him from the distance. The albums, the streams, the walls covered, the posters, never once telling anybody why. So now she's in the police station. And the question is not just can she represent him, the question is, does she actually know him? Or has she spent all these years loving a version of him that she built entirely in her own imagination? She goes back in. One question. Did you kill Wesley? Yes or no? Ryan's exhausted. No, I did not. She knows he is a terrible actor. She has watched every interview, every variety show, every candid moment on camera for years. She knows exactly what he looks like when he is being real versus when he's performing. Right now he's real, and that's enough. She takes a case. And it is a case that nobody else wanted to touch because the prosecutor on the other side is a third-generation legal family. Taking this case and losing will cost you your reputation, your career, your entire standing. So Anna's coworker quits. The firm steps back. Outside, fans are chanting. They are demanding justice for Wesley, calling Ryan a killer before even a single piece of evidence has been heard. And Julian already half believes Ryan did it. The company's position is silence, and Ryan's manager, who has been with him since he was like 10 years old, looks at him like he does not recognize who he's seeing. And Ryan asks for a different lawyer. This lawyer is kind of crazy. Can you give me somebody else? The manager is quiet and genuinely sorry. There's no one else. She's the only one. Well, what about the company? What about the CEO? The CEO is looking to terminate your contract. His manager cried. Every person in Ryan's life has either turned against him or has gone silent. The one person who's willing to stand in court and say he did not do it is a woman he does not know and who he just called crazy. And he hires her. So Anna goes to work. Carter becomes her unofficial private investigator. First assignment, track down the obsessive friends that broke into Ryan's apartment. Meanwhile, the coroner's office gives the prosecution something interesting. Wesley had no defensive wounds. He was completely unguarded when he was attacked, and the incision was precise, controlled, the kind of cut that requires a steady hand. Ryan had high alcohol content and possibly drug in his system too. So how does someone like that make a precise cut? Brandon, the prosecutor, noted this. It's not adding up. No murder weapon, no phone, CCTV ruined by the rain. But Brandon's father has already told him, Pick a suspect and hold on until the case closes. Do not change. Do not look incompetent. So Brendan holds on to this while the cracks grow. Anna walks the scenes at Ryan's apartment. Brendan shows up. Don't you think it's quite reckless for your client to claim innocence? I like to do irrational things. See you at the hearing. She walked away. And then there's her assistant, who, when Anna asks how she got access to the previous attorney's case notes, she pauses and confesses to her that she stole them because she is a Gold Boys fan. The smile Anna has on her face, the same one you're trying to suppress right now. Anna said nothing out loud, but internally she felt completely understood for the first time since she walked into the police station. Carter tracked down the two obsessive friends. Anna met them at a cafe. They walk unbothered. They're like, well, we have alibis, this has nothing to do with us. Anna looks unhurried and in the most terrifying version of her. She says, related or not, that really depends on the angle, doesn't it? You broke into the home of a public figure. A murder happened in that same home. I don't really need you to tell me anything, because when the reporter find out about two people who knew the passcodes, avoided every camera, and were in that same building the night that his best friend was killed, they will ask all the questions for me. And what ends up on the television won't be about Ryan anymore. It will be about you. So they talked. They went to the complex just before midnight, they said. They knew where the camera was. They knew where the security patrol schedule was. So they slipped in behind another resident. They took the stairs, so there's no CCTV. They disabled the motion sensor light and had memorized Ryan's door code weeks prior by watching him enter it from the stairwell. Now, two people got into that building completely undetected. On the same night Wesley was murdered, the prosecution's entire foundation that no third party could have entered just cracked wide open. In court, Anna laid it out cleanly. There's no murder weapon. There's signs of searching, which is consistent with someone unfamiliar with the space. There's proven entry of unauthorized persons just weeks prior. And so Anna addressed the judge. A guilty verdict must be based on evidence that leaves no room for reasonable doubt. The prosecution has not provided that evidence. The request to arrest and detain my client must be denied. Ryan's arrest is dismissed, but the war is not over. He is still the alleged murderer in every headline. His contract is under threat. His career is at a standstill. On the way home, Ryan asked the cars to stop, and he got out, and there was a bus stop billboard with his face. Enormous red graffiti spray across it. One word, murder. I think about what that does to a person, because it is not just cruel, it is something more insidious. When the entire world reflects something back at you. Every screen, every headline, every stranger's face saying the same thing. At some point, it stops being their opinion and starts feeling like your reality. And Ryan has already said he cannot remember that night clearly. So imagine standing in front of a billboard that calls you a murderer when you genuinely are not certain you're not one. The kind of public cruelty does not just hurt, it hypnotizes. He has nowhere to go. He cannot return to the apartment where Wesley died. He cannot go to the company preparing to drop him. He cannot go to his bandmates. So he walks. He buys soju, he drinks along the street, thinking about Wesley. How they used to bus on the same streets before anyone knew who they were. He thinks until he cannot anymore. And then his legs just stop. When he opens his eyes, he is somewhere warm, unfamiliar ceiling. He walks toward the sound coming from the outside. And Anna is very matter of fact. Oh, you're awake. Where am I? Welcome to my home, Ryan Doe. Is this realistic? No. She is his lawyer. He is her client. There are 17 professional reasons this should not be happening. But underneath the unrealistic premise, there's something true about Anna. She believes him, genuinely, for reasons that goes much deeper than the case. And everything she's doing, taking the case alone, staking her reputation, and apparently now her apartment, comes from that belief. Is there bias? Absolutely. Is she still doing everything in her professional power to prove his innocence? Also, yes. Sometimes you can hold both things at once. The robot lawyer brought her idol home. I told you she was all of us. But let me tell you about Ryan's childhood, because it matters to everything that comes after. He was a child watching his mother perform at a club on stage while every eye was on her, and not one of these eyes was on him. So one night he got up there himself and sang. Ryan thought for the first time, people were looking at me. They were clapping. It felt like I mattered. The CEO of Go Entertainment walked into a club and signed him. And Ryan thought, now my mother will see me. Instead, he spent every year after that working, performing away from home. And his mother said, I already took the money. We cannot stop now. So little Ryan cried in cars before performances. He gets in a fight with his bandmates. He carries all of it while the world watches him shine. I think it is a tragedy, a child craving his mother's attention only to fall into a deeper hole. Some people are simply not equipped to be parents, and an innocent child has no framework for understanding that the person who is supposed to be loving them unconditionally simply does not know how. So they perform, they try harder, they reach out for attention wherever they can find it. And Ryan found it on stage, and it cost him everything else. This is not a pop star story. This is a grief story wearing a pop star's costume. The only person who quietly, consistently showed up for him through all of it was Wesley. An umbrella when it rained, an ice pack after a fight. Small things, steady. Now Wesley is gone, and Ryan is sitting at Anna's apartment, opening up for the first time in years to someone he does not fully trust yet. While Anna is trying very hard to be his lawyer and not the girl who had his name written on her bed frame. Speaking of which, the night that Ryan arrived, Anna noticed a sticker on the bed frame right next to his pillow. His name, her own handwriting. She got down on her knees and started to peel it from the dark, slowly holding her breath. And I love this scene because of what it actually is. She's not ashamed of being his fan. This is hers and she has never apologized for it. But she is his lawyer now, and there is a version of her of how he sees her. Competent, unshakable, someone who chooses to believe him when nobody else would. And she wants to protect that, because if I ever got close to someone who I genuinely admired, close enough that they might actually get to know me, I would absolutely downplay how much of a fan I was. Not out of shame, but because I would want them to see me as a person first and equal, not just someone who knows all the lyrics. Anna wants Ryan to see her as his lawyer. So she is on her knees in the dark, and Ryan turns over in his sleep. His face now inches away from her, and he is in his sleep, but his voice cracks. Don't go. Please don't go. He's crying in his sleep. She stays very still, and then she tried to wipe the tear away from his face, placed her hand over his. He would never know this happened. While this was happening, two things were quietly developing in the other side of the story. First was Brendan. The prosecutor had just learned something from his father. Anna went to the same high school. She held first place over him academically until she dropped out. Brendan thought, there were so many people. How do I know everyone? And then he remembered. He was one of the people that bullied her. I think as an adult, knowing you bully someone, there should be a reckoning that comes with that. A normal person feels the embarrassment, recognizes who they were versus who they want to be. And maybe Brandon feel that, or maybe he's someone who has been shaped into someone completely by his father's way of operating, like pick a suspect, hold on, close a case, that he has not had like a genuine moment of moral honesty in years. I'm leaving the door open for Brendan because people can surprise you. Sometimes it takes hitting rock bottom to find out who someone actually is, like underneath everything they were taught to be. The second thing developing was Haley, Ryan's ex-girlfriend. The woman who was appearing at his fine signings, sitting in a luxury apartment looking at photos of two of them together, trying to figure out how to help him. Her plan is to get close to Brendan, the prosecutor, and use her connections to steer the investigation. So she got herself in front of him. He said he could not discuss the case. She pushes gently, said she did not think Ryan did it. Brendan got up to get a call, and when he came back, she was gone. So first impression of Haley, she is the ex you cannot get a read on. There is obviously history between her and Ryan that we do not know yet. She appeared on dash cam on the hillside road on the night of the murder, the same road Ryan took on a route that added 20 more minutes to his journey home. So friend or foe, too early to say. But the fact is that she got in front of the prosecutor and then disappeared before he came back tells me Haley knows exactly what she's doing. While Anna was building the case, she made one more visit that needed to happen. She went to see Ryan's mother. She advised her to stop giving interviews. The mother said, "No one is taking his side but me. Also, how much are you going to pay me to keep me quiet? Because reporters are paying me." I do not have a lot of grace on this. I understand that complicated family histories. I understand that Ryan and his mother have a painful and tangled relationship. But there is a floor, a baseline that a parent should not go below when their child is in crisis. She did not even call him first. And I looked at her. She's quiet and something more scary than angry. She tells her, there's a song that Ryan wrote for Go Boy's first album, based on his childhood. I understand now why it sounded so sad. Ryan sang so that people can find strength, so that they can find hope. But it seems like you have never listened to his songs. I strongly advise you to stop speaking to reporters, because if these interviews damage his reputation, I will file for defamation. Goodbye. And she walks out. Now there's a tire explosion. On the way back from the court visit, Anna's car went sideways. She fought for control, it skipped off the road because someone tampered with the tire. Someone deliberately jabbed it and did not finish the job, so it will fail while driving. Now, a person is already dead in the story, and now someone is targeting people trying to find the truth about it. This case was never just about a murder investigation. It is about something someone desperately needs to try to stay buried. If I were Ryan, watching my lawyer's car get forced off the road because of a case that she took from me, I do not think I could hold against her if she walked away. But if she stayed after this, that means something different from just doing her job. It means she has decided this is worth the risk, worth her life, potentially. She stayed. And of course she stayed. The obsessive fans, it turned out, were the ones that tampered with the car. They were caught on CCTV and they thought they had a righteous reason. Defending Wesley, punishing the person they believed that killed him. And Ryan wanted to let them go without charges. He said to the fans, very tiredly, "You can do whatever you want to me, but please don't drag anyone else into this." And I told him, this is exactly why they keep doing it, because there's never any consequences. But Ryan said, if we sue them, there's going to be an investigation, and people who want attention will do more. I just want them to go away. And I looked at him. And she thought about the first time when her boss gave her a case. And it's a shoplifter where nobody believes him, but she chooses to believe him. And that's what she continues to do, to believe her client. Her law firm, though, is done. Her coworker is now representing Julian, so there's a conflict of interest. The boss is asking her to drop the case. Anna, to her boss, says, you know, you always told me when I become a lawyer that even if the whole world turns on a client, the lawyer should never turn on them. This is why I become a lawyer. I won't abandon this case. So at this point, Anna's on her own now. She has no firm, no backing, just Anna and Carter, and the case where every other lawyer in town is walked away from. One late night at the apartment, Ryan shared more about his relationship with his bandmates with Anna. His relationship with his bandmates used to be very good, like with all of them, including Julian. But somehow it's not that way anymore. And he wondered, how did it end up like this? That was the altercation that Julian filmed. Part of the reason why he believes that Ryan and Wesley are on the rocks with their relationship. And so he believes that Ryan killed Wesley. But the night that Wesley died, Ryan told Wesley that he was going for a walk. But he actually went to meet Haley to end it properly, face to face. So when he was with her, he said, I can't keep in touch with you. You need to stop reaching out. But I miss you. I was so stupid. I'm sorry. But I can't let you back in. I'm putting everything into my solo album. I have to go. So he got out of the car. Then he started walking. A car came at him fast. Stopped inches before impact. Then Haley got out. Something between grief and fury and love and nowhere left to go. Then she drove away. And Ryan walked home. 40 minutes. In the pouring rain, alone, he went to bed. And when he woke up the next morning, Wesley was on the floor. He told Anna all this, and then he looked at her. Haley is someone I wanted to protect, and I couldn't. Will you help me protect her from this case? She said she would try. She took everything to Brandon, phone records, timelines. Wesley called to the CEO after Ryan left. Proof Wesley was alive after they parted. The conspiracy theory collapses. They walked out of that meeting and Ryan genuinely, fully, for one real moment, is thanking Anna. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Attorney Anna. He hugged her. Just completely happy for one moment. And she stood there in it. Then there's a voice behind her. Hey, Stinky. That's an old nickname from high school. And Brandon, standing there, remembering her now. He tried to choose his words carefully. I remember you from high school. Is this why you took this case to get revenge on me? Anna is almost laughing, genuinely unbothered. No wonder your investigation is going nowhere. Work on your actual skills, catch the real killer, and good luck. She walked away. She didn't know yet, but someone had been watching. On the drive home, that's when Anna's car went sideways without warning. She fought for the wheel that skid off the road and the tire exploded. But in the quieter hours, while all the investigations going on, something small happened at Anna's apartment that I want to share with you. So Ryan was alone at the apartment and he's kind of looking around her space. And that's when he saw, books everywhere, frames everywhere. But then he saw a sticky note on her table. Small in her handwriting that says, Ryan Doe is innocent, for sure. He does not know that this woman defending him has believed in him ever since he has been performing at a free concert to like a handful of strangers. All he knows is that this apartment is full of things that he doesn't recognize. But someone wrote his name and put a word innocent next to it. I meant it. I think that note is going to sit with him in the quiet moments when the ringing in his ear comes back, when the headline says murder, when he cannot remember clearly what happened that night. He is going to remember that somebody wrote that down. Somebody wrote that down before they had any reason to. And Anna in that same evening went to Carter's apartment and sat down and said, why does my heart hurt so much? No matter how I felt before, it's always felt like he's next to me. And now that he actually is, he feels so far away. Everything I learn about him now is not the highlight reel. It is the sorrow, the secrets, the things I cannot be short of. Now I have to say, loving a celebrity from a fan's distance exists in a kind of perfect safety, right? Because you see all the highlight reels always and they appear flawless because you only ever see what is meant to be seen. And in that space, you are never disappointed. And the happiness is real though. The comfort is real. So when that changes, when you are suddenly close enough to see the messy human parts, the pain that they were hiding, the choices that complicated everything, is disorientating in a way that is hard to explain to someone who has never felt it before. But Anna is not disappointed in Ryan. She's mourning the version of him she built over the years. The one who kept her company and never asked for anything of her and never had a Haley. That version is gone. In its place is a real person, complicated, guarded, hurting, and she has to decide what to do with that. And Carter, I want to say something about Carter here. He and Anna first met as children at a columbarium, visiting their parents' ashes separately. Their two kids alone in a place built for grief. She offered him candy. He took it. He still has a jar, refilled it over the years. It's his comfort object that goes all the way back to the first time they met, where she made him feel less alone. And yet, Anna has never fully let Carter in. He has been trying to prove himself, to be reliable, to someone who has learned to not need anyone. He loves her. He knows. She knows. But we're not going to cross that line, she says. Because Carter has never given her a reason to stop being independent. And maybe that's its own quiet tragedy. Around the same time, the investigation kept going. Oscar finally told Ryan the truth now. Julian was not at the hospital the entire night. His bed was empty, his phone went unanswered, and in the morning, when the news broke about Wesley, Julian came back and told Oscar to say he had been there the whole time. Oscar said nothing out of fear, out of guilt, but Ryan's mother, in the meanwhile, had signed a contract with another company under Ryan's name without his knowledge. That's what Julian had told the prosecutor, that Ryan was jumping ship to a different label company. Not true. A fake contract signed by his mother. Ryan went to find her at a gambling casino to talk this out. But he's furious. Did you sign me to another company under my name? Of course I did. I give you my name. Why can't I use it? Because of you, I'm now a murder suspect. Now, this is not the first time his mother has betrayed him, but it still hurts because hope is stubborn. Even when it has been broken the same way over and over, you still carry it. You still believe somewhere underneath everything, somewhere this time will be different, that she will finally be the mother that he needed. But she never is. And that grief does not get easier with repetition. On the way home, Anna took a detour. She grabbed his hand without thinking. She pulled him forward and almost excited. Here, it's about to start. They are at the rooftop and there's a billboard. Fans had actually raised money to put it up. Not the ones that call him murder, the ones who never stopped believing him. Image of Go Boys, sweet moments, all of them together. A message from people who were still waiting. Anna tells Ryan, this is proof. There are so many people who trust you, who are waiting for you. And he stood there and looked at it for the first time in weeks. He did not feel entirely alone. And he looked at her and said, completely casually, as if this is perfectly reasonable, my place has been seized. Staying in a hotel will be too visible, so I'll stay here for a while. And I just blinked. With full affection and how unhinged this drama is, her idol volunteering himself to live in her apartment. Is this a K-drama? Yes, I accept it completely and without further complaint, absolutely. And slowly, carefully, they started to become something to each other. He noticed that everything in her kitchen has a product that he has endorsed. Every brand, his face on it, the peanut butter, his face on the milk, and Ryan is genuinely delighted. He cannot let this go because this cannot be a coincidence. You bought all these because my face is on it. Anna is flustered. She's trying to over-explain. They're the best-selling ones. That's all, obviously. And Ryan thought, yeah, the real thing underneath the teasing, it's that I don't even drink milk. People will buy anything with my face on it, even if they know how bad it tastes, but they still buy it. And Anna asked him, why do you talk like you don't appreciate the people that love you? Maybe the person I really don't like is myself. No one ever loved me. They loved the Go Boys. They loved the idol. The only person who ever actually cared about me is not here anymore. And I'm glad you don't like me because then you can be disappointed. She felt that because she felt something very close to herself. He took her to the university one evening to an outdoor piano. Ryan sits down, pulling her next to him, trying to play music that is simple because he says music can't lie and it can't reach anyone. Anna has these complex thoughts going through her head and said, but we're not music. That's why we lie. What if someone you trusted had lied to you? A big one. What will you do? Ryan thought, I don't usually expect much from people, so I don't think it will hurt that much. And then he started to play the song from the iPod, the one she has listened to 1,000 times, the one that gave her a reason to live when she stood at the edge of the lake. He's playing it right in front of her, unknowingly giving her the strength again. He does not know, he cannot know, not yet. One afternoon, Ryan went looking for rice in the attic and he stumbled upon a box that did not belong in the storage items. It has posters, photo cards, albums, plushies, years of carefully collected Go Boys merchandise, all of it hidden. And Anna came home to find everything scattered across the floor. And Ryan is sitting next to it in anger. Tell me, what is this? I thought for the first time in my life, someone believed me because they believe me. Not because I was one of the Go Boys. I thought you saw me. I thought I could actually trust someone. If I wasn't one of the Go Boys, would you even have believed me? Would you even have defended me? The betrayal hurts more because he was already falling, already letting himself trust her. And now he's asking the question he has asked everyone in his life. Was any of this real? Or was I just useful to you? Anna sat quietly in her living room. After he left, Carter walked in. She looked at all of it on the ground and said, it's not just him that I'm throwing away. It's all the times of me that I really like. When I used to admire him, when I was happy, I didn't want these moments to disappear too. I didn't want the happy version of me to vanish. And she puts everything into a trash bag. The albums, the poster, the photo cards. And then she found the red hat, the one from the lake. Not merchandise, not collectible. The thing that made her decide to live. She put it in a bag too and left it outside. The next day, Ryan showed up at the prosecutor interrogation without telling Anna. No legal representation. She rushed in when she found out. You need legal presence. You are not protected right now. I can't believe anything that comes out of your mouth right now. Anna, she's steady and defensive. Yes, I was your fan. And yes, it interests me, but I had to put that behind me in order to take this case. I am defending you, the person in front of me, not the idol. It would be nice if we could separate the two, but I am upset, not because you lied to me, because you made me believe you. And he walks away. And here's the thing that breaks my heart about this moment. Ryan is not wrong to be hurt. He has been used and lied to so many times by his mother, by his company, by people who claim to care. When he finds out Anna was his fan, it slots into the same category. Another person who saw the idol before they saw him. But the irony is, Anna saw him before he was an idol. He just doesn't know it yet. Brandon found Anna alone in the hallway shortly after, and he's choosing cruelty to protect himself. Isn't it so cruel your client dropped you last minute like that? I guess it felt like you weren't really worth it. Just like your father, at the end, he was guilty. Her father's injustice, the wound that never closed, and now the same machinery is pointing at Ryan. So Anna went to Haley. She went to ask for help. Documents, information, anything that she could provide for Haley to help Ryan to find a new lawyer. Haley agreed and said, well, I trust that you will not to see Ryan anymore about this. And I said that will not be an issue. Now that she can't represent Ryan anymore, she decided to finally to prepare her father's retrial again, the one that she's been avoiding for all these years. And then everything shifts again. News broke that Julian had been found on a hillside road in a ditch. He apparently driven off the edge. He was alive but unconscious. So he got pulled from the wreckage by the emergency services, and they found a note where he said he did everything, the murder. And then there was also the murder weapon found in his car. So of course the news exploded. Julian, now not Ryan, is now the murderer in headlines. That night it rained heavily, and Ryan found himself sitting in Anna's doorstep. So no umbrella. And she found him there, and he fainted in her arms. So even now, fire, betrayed, done, he still went back to her, because some part of him already know where he is safe. So she took care of him through the night, make sure he did not get sick, sat beside him while he slept. In the morning when he woke up to find her asleep next to him, he looked at her. I can't believe Julian did this. He's not that kind of person. And if he really did, why? Why would we do that to Wesley? The prosecutor's office had their own concern. Brandon noted that the drug found in Julian's system is the same type of drug found in Ryan's system on the night of the murder. And this drug does not cause immediate sleep. It takes 20 to 30 minutes to take effect, which means if someone drugged Julian, there was a window, a sufficient window where he was still conscious, still coherent, still able to be directed somewhere before losing control of the car. Something's not right. And for the first time, Brandon started quietly working against his own investigation. He visited Julian at the hospital. Julian is still weak, but he told him, I never wrote a suicide letter. Please look into this. Do not treat innocent people like criminals. So Brandon made his decision to keep digging quietly against his father's wishes. Ryan and Anna started piecing together Julian's movement before his accident, which led them to a hotel in the outskirts of the city, the same hotel that the Gold Boy had used for their very first debut. The counter attendant remembered Julian vividly because she's a Gold Boys fan. He did not leave his room. Nobody came to visit, but he left his belongings behind. And then Ryan remembered something. The hotel, the debut, the little outdoor festival where hardly anyone came and everything went wrong. But it was still the best day, and that's probably why Julian came here. He took Anna to a wishing tree forest nearby. People wrote their wishes and hanged them on the branches. The Gold Boy had done it together when they were young, all of them. He said Julian told him whenever life felt too heavy, he would come back here to look at the wishes and remember something good. And they sit there together among all the paper wishes. And she asked him, what does Julian ask for, wish for? Ryan did not answer, but he looked at the tree for a long time. Now, to understand what really happened the night that Wesley died, we have to go back to before any of it, because Wesley had been carrying something enormous, something he never told Ryan. The CEO had promised the group album would come after Ryan's solo album and tour, but it did not. Another tour got booked instead. So a competing company had been approaching Wesley, promising real music, real creative control. And Wesley said he will bring the whole group, and he said Ryan will listen to him. The conversation was recorded without his knowledge. It leaked, and suddenly there was a narrative. Ryan was jumping ship, betraying the Gold Boys. Wesley tried to stop it. He went to Ryan's house that day, the day he died. He put Ryan, who at the time was drunk, to bed, and then he received a call from the CEO, who told him that because of the verbal agreement that the Ryan's mother's fake contract, Ryan could be charged with the massive penalty fee. Wesley told the CEO he would take the responsibility for everything himself because he knows that Ryan would sacrifice everything himself if he knew. So he didn't want that to happen, and that was the last phone call, and it was recorded. The CEO revealed all of this to Ryan, and he said, I truly believe you didn't harm Wesley. And that's why I didn't want to share any of this with you, because it could look like a motive, but belief isn't evidence. So now it's your turn. Do you really not know any of this? And Ryan, who's not good at performing, says, I did not harm Wesley. On the way back home, Ryan sat with what he had just learned. Wesley knew about the fake contract. He knew about the penalty fee. He was trying to protect Ryan from all of it and carrying it alone. And Ryan never knew. And at this point, Ryan just felt guilty. I only ever thought about my own pain. I didn't see any of this. And Anna told him, just because you realize late doesn't mean it's your fault. Some people, even the people closest to you, can't open up. Don't punish yourself for what you couldn't see. Now, around the same time, Carter had been quietly digging to the original crime scene for evidence, and something caught Anna's eye in one of these photographs. A single earring in the apartment, not Ryan's, not Wesley's. But Ryan recognized it immediately. He opened the jewelry box at home, one earring inside, a matching pair, the kind that couples share, keeping one each. He and Haley had worn them when they were together, and when they broke up, they each keep their half. Then Julian woke up from the hospital. The first thing he said, why am I here? Where's Haley? Seemed to have lost some memory. And then he told Brandon what he remembered from the night before the accident. He had received a call from Haley wanting to meet, so he went. And in a conversation, he realized that she knew he went to find Ryan that night. He asked her, well, how did you know that? And she says, of course I know that. I see it on the news. But Julian never told anyone that he went to Ryan's that night. He was too afraid to become a suspect. So he was not on the news. But there's only one way that Haley would know about this. Julian said after they parted ways and he got back into his car, he suddenly felt very sleepy. Everything went blurry. He remembered nothing else. Somebody drugged him. At this time, Carter found a personal security camera at the resident's apartment in Ryan's building. A figure walking to the garden without an umbrella on the night of heavy rain. With the case basically at the stall now, Ryan knows that if he could access Wesley's iCloud, they could discover something because Wesley has a habit of recording everything. And Anna actually found out a secret code from their albums through her assistant, who is the Go Boy fan. Knowing that there's a secret code, they decoded it and eventually found out the password to Wesley's iCloud. So they got in and they found all Wesley's audios because he records everything, and they heard his last moments. Knock, knock on the door. Wesley opening the door, recognizing who it is, already concerned. Why are you here? Ryan's really drunk. You should go. Haley is beyond reasoned. Let go of me. I want to see him. Move. Wesley's stepping in front of the door, and he's firm. Don't you know how much pain you put him through? No matter how much love he gives you, it was never enough. It's over. Just move on. He doesn't love you anymore. Haley is desperate. She's going wild. Maybe it's better if everything just ends here. Quietly, she picks up a knife, puts it next to her neck. Wesley reached for it. They struggled. They fell. And that's how Wesley died. It was not murder in the way that anyone imagined. It was a desperate act by someone who had come completely undone. A struggle that ended in something irreversible. Haley cleaned up the scene, make sure she left no trace, went home, and let Ryan take the fall. With the audio recording, Haley was arrested. She's the daughter of a large, wealthy corporate group, and she's now in handcuffs. The news broke everywhere, and the case that had been pointed at Ryan from the very beginning finally closed around the truth. There was one more thing that Ryan needed to do. He went to visit Haley in prison. He went only to ask her why. You want to know why? It's all because of you. After we broke up, I didn't go to the States. I went to the facility because I tried to take my own life so many times, but you were always smiling on the screens. If you hadn't pushed me away so coldly, I wouldn't have gone to your house that night. I don't want you to ever forget me, even if you hate me. Ryan is steady and clear. I won't waste my time hating you. But let me tell you something. What love is. Love is supporting someone no matter what they are or what situation they're in. And always believe in them. Wanting happiness for them. That's what love is. And he walked out. And I want to say something about Haley, not to excuse what she did, because Wesley's dead and that cannot be undone. But the show does something uncomfortable by showing us how she got there. The spiral, the isolation, the love that curled into something destructive because they had nowhere healthy to go. None of that is an excuse. but it is a warning about what happens when pain goes completely unaddressed, when people are left alone inside something too heavy to carry. Wesley tried to stop her, and it cost him everything. Brandon stood up to his father, and here's what happened. With Haley arrested and the audio evidence is pointing clearly at her, Brandon's father was furious, not because he cared about justice, but because Haley is the daughter of the big corporate group, a powerful man behind her. And a man who has been working behind the scenes this entire time to try to keep Haley's name out of everything and to make sure Ryan takes the fall instead. His father told Brandon, release her. Drop it. Ryan's a suspect. That was always the plan. The chairman wants Ryan in prison for 20 years, and if you deliver that, your career is set. Politics, power, everything. And Brandon, who had been running on his father's instruction this entire career, finally say no. And he says, is it really for my career that you're telling me this? Or are you just afraid what happens when the truth comes out? I will have to go against you. Haley stays in custody, the case held, and finally, for the first time in what feel like forever, Anna could breathe. She used that breath to do the thing she'd been avoiding all these years, which is to file for her father's retrial. And she walked into the tree in her yard, the one she used to play a game with Ryan, the one that where the tree shivers when you lie and stays still when you tell the truth. She went to that tree and felt something. Strength. Her father. The vision of herself that stood at the edge of the lake and almost did not come back. In court, she presented evidence of the false statements in the Orange trial. Brandon showed up to support the petition, even knowing that this opening a case would bring his father's name into it because his father had been the original prosecutor. But Brandon knows now that there is only one truth. You cannot force it. And outside the courtroom, reporters and then chaos in the crowd. Suddenly, the reporters are very surprised. Oh my God, look, it's Ryan Doe. And Ryan, he's all suited up, holding a bouquet, looking like a prince. In front of everyone and the cameras and reporter in the city, he walked straight up to her, to Anna. He congratulated her in public, on record, in front of everyone. And then they walked to the car, hand in hand. Anna is, flustered, already calculating the headlines. You really surprised me, but how could you do that? Like, it could be reported everywhere. You should be more careful. Ryan seems completely unbothered. Well, I miss you. Did you miss me? And Anna is trying to sound casual, says, of course I miss you. Sometime later, with the case behind them and the Ryan is back on his feet with the Gold Boys, and they went back on tour, now 3 of them instead of 4. But on the screen, behind them doing the concerts, Wesley is still there. He's still part of the group. And if you squint, you can almost see all of them together. And Anna, she's sitting in the audience, her ticket she bought herself, her new merch she ordered herself. She was a fangirl again. Completely and without apology. She earned it. Now, before I take you to the ending, I need to bring you back to the night that happened earlier. A night that changed everything between them. It was when they got locked in the park. While investigating a hotel where Julian had stayed, Ryan and Anna accidentally stayed past closing time and found themselves locked inside the little town near their old debut venue. Ryan was actually happy about it for once. No cameras, no security detail, no performance required, just a park at night. That was when he told her about the red hat. He said to her, I remember who I gave it to. I remember that day I had given my mother all my earnings and she didn't even care that I was sick. I hadn't seen her in months. Even though it was spring, I felt so cold. I saw someone walk past me toward the river, almost lifelessly. I followed her. I could have ignored her, but I saw myself in her. I hope to give her courage that someone else could have given me. And that was the first time I felt like I could reach someone's heart through music. For a single second, I realized I wasn't useless. I'm sorry I didn't recognize you. But that day, why were you hurting so much? And Anna was being honest back. She said, that was the day that my father died in prison. He was innocent, but no one believed him. And after he died, my mother passed too. I was left alone in this world. I couldn't find a reason to live. When I heard you singing, I thought, I need to live. One day I will find a reason. And I did. And did you know when you debuted, I was happier than the day that I passed the bar exam? That's how much I liked you. Ryan's face went still. He understood what he was actually looking at. Not a fan who loved the idol, a person instead who had held on to a single moment of genuine human kindness from a stranger and built a whole life around the courage that he gave her. And he had been that stranger before he was Ryan Do, before he was Gold Boys, before any of it, when he was just a cold, lonely kid who saw someone else hurting and could not walk away. Later, back at her door on the night before he left for his tour, he tells her, I'm really sorry that I was not there when your life was at hardest, but I will be there from now on. She kissed him on his cheek, and he looked at her, smiling, and said, well, I can't leave now. And he kissed her. The news of Ryan showing up at her father's retrial hearing with flowers in front of every camera in the city has already made sure everyone knew about them. The fans knew, the reporter knew, even the two former obsessive fans are like fighting for their privacy, telling the other reporters, hey, it's their private time. You don't need to like follow them. So I guess people can change. Sometimes it takes something terrible to get there, but they can. Before the tour started, before any of the lights and stages and concerts, the three of them did one more thing. They went to Wesley's grave. They placed the new album and a concert ticket on his stone. And Ryan said to Wesley, we were really scared to go on without you, but we found these songs you wrote in the cloud and we put them in. The whole time we were making music, we felt like you were right there with us, like we were still making the music together. And at the concert, every single night on the screen behind the stage, Wesley, all four of them together. And Carter, who turned out to be exactly who he always wanted to be, found Ryan's mother, handed her an envelope. This is his first official assignment as a private detective. And inside are concert tickets. Ryan is making peace with his mother from a distance in the only language he knows how, music. And Anna is sitting in the audience with the ticket that she bought herself. She's watching her idol on stage, the real one, complicated one, the one with secrets and pain and the inability to communicate and also capacity for extraordinary kindness. The boy who put a red hat on a stranger's head because he could not walk away. She did not need any fantasy anymore. She has something better, and that's Idol Eye. And that is why I'm not okay. If you made it all the way here with me, thank you, genuinely. This story deserves to be told in full, so I am so glad we did it together. If you're new here, hi, hello, and welcome. Subscribe if you want more of this, because we're just getting started. And Ryan, wherever you are on your tour, make sure you're eating well and sleeping well. And we'll be here when you get back. We always are.